don't you come sit down?
Got a minute.
Join the conversation.
I'll grab you a chair.
You grab a chair.
Yeah.
So
Let's get him over here.
we'll do.
Is that a box of pills to help you through the day?
Yeah.
Oh,
Cleaning ones.
that would hurt. That'll clear out your system.
No,
I don't want to be there looking at it.
you're a weird dude, man. Hilarious.
I have been told that by many people. Now I'm getting the religious people telling me that.
That way we have ease of access.
Oh.
I'm going to put this in the other room so it doesn't, disrupt our entire audio.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like staring for something. I'm missing everything I'm staring at right now.
So is this a customer's?
Yeah, that's one is mental consignment.
Oh, that's the H. It's a 74, isn't
It's
it?
74.
74.
What do you think about it?
I think right now it's a rust bucket. Needs work.
I don't even know if you can get ammo that easily anymore for the 74.
762 has become a little bit of a tool, to get anything, because the embargo in Russia has really put a damper on bringing in 762 by 39 of Russian ammo.
I bet that's
So-
going to open up in the near future.
As a avid AK fan, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
As realistically, probably not. We can hope for all of that to open up, but who knows? I mean, a lot's going to change in the next 30 days from now.
Yeah, what I see is Putin's daughter and Trump's daughter going to St. Petersburg, like they did way back when, and met, and policies will be agreed upon, and they'll come back and talk to Daddy. That's how it's done, man. Wasn't it during the Olympics? Head of little Kimmy sent his daughter to the Olympics, and she met with somebody behind the scenes, but it was the Olympics. That's how it's done. You send a family member and you work out some things. Like here's two family members right here. They may work out things. I don't know. After yesterday, that could have been... yesterday, not all the oars were in the water.
But y'all paddling in circles?
Dude, I'm just trying to tread and stay afloat.
That's the way of the world right now, though. I think everybody's trying to tread and stay afloat.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anybody that's not.
Oh,
If
sure.
you look at anybody that's in the blue collar, everybody's just making it day to day. They have been for the last 4 years.
Yeah. Let me let me do the intro real quick for everyone. Today's episode, you might notice it's actually two different cameras now. We actually are trying a more professional setup.
Professional.
Also notice that pink microphone over there.
What's his definition of professionalism?
We're running a GoPro and an iPhone.
Yeah,
okay?
and also two studio mics. Welcome to episode 2 of Nox's Weapons Guncast. We have some guests here to shoot the shit. So, and by the way, I'm not going to edit out the curse words because apparently YouTube's policy on curse words is long if you don't use, racial curse words or the F word.
It's
So
not-
you can say shit
not
as
their
much as
It's
you want.
his policy.
Oh, yeah? Well,
Oh, I'm sorry,
I
Reverend.
apologize.
Nick.
So, anyways,
Honor the
Nate
cloth.
over here. There's
Not
Stu
the
over
man.
here, and I have both cameras running, so they can both see it just fine. We have some guests today. We just pulled Denny out randomly to say, "Hey,
Random Denny.
And our resident Ed over here. Resident chair warmer.
So,
No, it's cool. We have two different
chair
branches of the government.
no,
Thanks a lot.
So, yeah.
So,
Maybe run out of holy water, sir.
So, which one of our guests wants to introduce themselves first?
Go ahead, Ed.
I'm Resident Ed. That's how I'm referred to around here.
This is
I'm
Ed.
like the store wooden Indian
Ed brings
outside.
in some of the wildest and coolest toys that you could ever imagine.
I try.
Pretty
I
successful.
have been exposed to some stuff people don't even know about.
Oh, now there's a conversation we might get into later.
Oh, I know. Would you be kind enough to bring my swagger stick in?
I can bring your swagger.
Yes.
While he's going to get that, we also have Denny here.
Yeah, what's he got?
He's our resident Marine.
He's a Uzbek.
This is going to be an interesting conversation. I see it coming already.
I've learned more shit about the Marines from the veterans that have been here. And some of the special forces guys are totally off the wall.
No, none of us are saying.
No.
I'll be sure that one of the best things about this job.
Okay. Here's my toy.
One of the best things about this job that we have is talking to you guys.
Yeah.
Hanging out with all the veterans. That is probably the best part about this job.
It is.
Now, I mean, yeah, we all love guns. That's why we're here.
Oh, yeah.
But talking with the veterans really brings out what's real.
Yeah, because they're not going to bullshit with each other as such.
No.
There's none. I came out of Golden Corral the other day, and I was going in, I'm sorry. Gentleman was coming out, and he asked where I had been. So I says, Vietnam, Korea, Guam, Okinawa, that sort of stuff. And he says, Korea. I was in Korea. It's the coldest place I've ever been. And he agreed with it. He says that he came in during the Pueblo crisis. Same time I was there. Our base shipped 5,000 guys in within a week. And I says, okay, you came over from Vietnam. You were one of those guys that had the short sleeve ripstop material that had the thermal underwear sticking out under it because there's no cold weather gear. He says, no, that was the second group. We came in and we stole our parkas. So, just people you run into. But I have 3 items which have stuck with me and mean a lot. One of them is my passport to get into Vietnam. I don't know how many guys needed a passport to get in. I have one, 1963. I also have a magazine, 20 round M16 mag filled with tracer, that I carried Christmas Eve, 1966, when I pulled guard duty with my brother up in Da Nang. He was with the Seabees.
Wow.
And third thing here is this item. It's a swagger stick given to me by a Vietnamese intelligence individual I know. I got this in, I think, 67. I met the man in 63 and then ran into him again in 67. Simple swagger stick, tortoise shell, with a bayonet inside.
Looks like an SKS.
SKS, early bayonet. It was the personal property of a Viet Cong colonel that was taken prisoner. So that's how I picked it up. Somewhere along the line, I'm keeping the passport, I'm keeping that magazine. This thing will go down the road. I got bills to pay off, whatever, so. Anybody's interested, it's up there.
Put it up with the camera.
Yeah,
Put them,
You can pull it out, but don't stab yourself. You've been known to shoot yourself. Only gun dealer I know that tries to blow his hand off.
He just wanted sympathy. That's all.
He got it.
I know he got it.
Bled like a pig all over.
Oh, I know. I bled everywhere. Yeah, it was awful.
Then you come up with this other grunge on top of that.
Oh yeah, I know. I caught a horrible MRSA. That was bad.
Staph.
Staph, MRSA, whatever, same thing.
Fortunately, you went someplace else
That is
for
pretty
treatment,
cool.
otherwise there would have been
Yeah.
amputation.
Yeah, because frankly, getting this amputated would have been a horrible choice.
The correct call me Nutty.
All nutty anyway.
Actually, that reminds me. We used to have this dog in our house
Stubby.
called Stubby, and it was a 3-legged Yorkie.
That's not surprising to me.
Yeah.
I'm not. Did you shoot his leg off too?
No, actually, the dog shot his own foot off.
No,
Oh.
she was from large
No,
there, and
no,
she was
no,
born
no, no.
with only 3. Dog with a little derringer.
So Vietnam. You said Guam.
Vietnam 63, Guam 65, Vietnam 66, 67, Korea 68, Okinawa 71 through 73.
Wow.
What was that?
I wasn't in the
Wet-
thought.
Nope, those weather.
What was that hot, wet place that you hated that most? Not Vietnam. It was the one that you just sweat all the time in.
Well, Guam was
Yeah.
one of those. I've seen the headliner in cars rot from the humidity. All the cars were rusty unless they were brand new.
You spent a lot of time in jungles, didn't you?
In who?
In jungles.
I found out by accident, good with clerks, finding out stuff, my records were coded counterinsurgency, which means I was not going to Europe. There was this group of us that were bound and determined. We're going to go over there. And there was the other group that was going to go yodel in the mountains and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, that's
All those fun stuff. I remember this had to be 62. I was in Louisiana, Barksdale. And I don't know why, I guess the news of Vietnam was starting to creep out there. This is after the Cuban crisis. And I went to personnel and I says I wanted to volunteer for Vietnam. Says you can't do it. You cannot volunteer for the place. All right. So I had a volunteer statement and I forgot for where I got it in my records. Next thing I know, I got orders going to Thailand. Okay, that's pretty close.
Yeah, I was gonna say Thailand's pretty close. It's about an hour and a half flight.
So anyhow, after going through the Philippines and going through some course in the Philippines on how to be nice to Asian people, there was a formal course.
a
Yes,
lot of bowing.
yes. Don't show your foot to somebody.
Nope.
It's
why?
it's disrespectful. So
What do you mean, don't show your foot?
if you cross your legs, don't point it at that
Yeah.
individual.
Oh, okay.
So there was certain
Don't touch someone's head,
protocol.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff. Yeah.
especially children's head.
So anyhow, for the Philippines, to get over to Thailand, I get on a 124, I think it is, 4-engine cargo plane, and I'm watching from the upper deck, looking at the plane. The people are out there playing with the propeller. Guys on the bottom look at it, shake it some more. Guys get out on the wing, go on and shake it some more. Okay. So we're flying over the Pacific, going over Thailand. I go to sleep. I wake up, the motor's not turning. So obviously we're flying on 3 engines. We got 4, we're ahead of the game. Go to Thailand, report in. Your unit moved. Where? Vietnam. Okay. So I still had the boarding pass. Next day I was out on the plane heading into Vietnam.
Only 2 engines.
Land in the 2-engine transport. Very interesting. They dropped the ramp. So you're inside, you're looking back, we're on that perforated steel decking, and here comes a Mercedes 230 SL gull wings open, chasing our plane down the runway. This is going to be an interesting tour. The lieutenant I worked for, waiting for my clearance, in a photo lab, by the book lieutenant, whatever, he wasn't too well liked. Ran into him, first person in Vietnam, standing there in his cowboy boots with a big metal buckle on, Hi, how are you? And all this sort of stuff. This is going to be an interesting tour. First commander's call. Well, all the new guys, please stand up. We'd like to welcome you. Okay, the whole theater. Hello, assholes. So you were now part of the family. This was a different environment that I was used to in the States. Then it got progressively worse. By the book. No.
I'm sure. I can imagine. I'm sitting there thinking about everything that we know. Because the history is a different story, though, you know?
I think of the poor Marines there when SAC was bombing with the B-52s. In a short target area, the releasing of the bomb, the timing mechanism, would not always pull the safety pins out of the bombs. The bombs came down safe. Viet Cong would dig them up, put them in the trails for the Amtraks. A little known fact. But they tried, because you're dealing with jungle, trees, nothing really significant to get on, unless you got a river or so to measure from. They wanted to use radar on bombing the targets at night. So you find something to offset its time and distance. Well, they sent up an Army helicopter with a beacon on it, broadcasting. B-52s are going to come in, offset off the helicopter, everything's fine, except they dropped it on the helicopter. They didn't offset. So the helicopter saw it coming, and it is booked out of there. Little known fact. There's certain failures now and then that have to be corrected.
Did a lot of failures.
Sure, you got your fair share, too, huh?
Oh, yeah. We got, I was with an Arctic group. I was fire direction control. And we had a new lieutenant. We were doing night maneuvers. Then we got explosions 50 meters out, 155. He didn't drove us through the impact area. Didn't know how to read the map. You know.
Isn't that part of basics to recognize a map? My brother he was with the Seabees, and you had a Special Forces base next to him and also a Marine unit. I watched the Marines go out Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, just, what a rough deal. But they had a graveyard near them, the Seabees, and with a tank in it. So they figured, let's load the tank up with C4.
Oh, yeah?
So they loaded the whole tank with C4. Their thing was the world's biggest claymore. So if anybody's coming through there, that's it. Lieutenant said it was inhumane. Made them empty it. We had people over there who just didn't know
We
what
had the
to
same
do.
crap at Grenada.
Yeah.
Okay. Because here you are, we're taking fire. Okay. On the 5 tons, we got a 50 cal ring. Okay, so this guy's up in the palm tree shooting at our troops. Guy jumps up, cuts a tree down with the 50 cal.
Yeah.
And you got some idiot from the UN coming over here saying this is UN infractions. They want to put him up on charges for using a 50 cal on a non-mechanized target. Okay. He was politely told that you better go now. Okay, because these guys are going to.
Oh yeah.
You're going to join this other guy. But same thing in Korea.
Yeah.
Okay. You got team spirit every year. When the patties all freeze up, that's when they bring all the forces in so North Korea doesn't come down. Okay, so we do all our military training then. And you had a C5 ramp, and it was all marked off. Okay, these are the Singaporeans, they're staging their gear here, the US is staging their gear here, the Brits are staging their gear here. Then you had the Turks. Okay, now they what they call slicky boys. Okay. Okay, these guys will come at night and they'll steal just about everything. You know, we caught them if they had a can of coffee. We made them eat a can of coffee and then let them go. Okay, so they just be really sick. Okay, well, UN reps were coming in, and you got all kinds of security fences, Constantine wire stuff, and then you get to the Turks, and there's 2 telephone poles. Okay, on the F-16, one of the stabilizers is a titanium. It's like a 3/4-inch titanium rod that goes in there, and they had a sleeky boy with it through this ear and out the other, and hung over the 2 telephone poles. No fences, no Constantine wire, but nobody touched the Turk stuff.
Oh.
Well, she saw it. We had a lady captain come in. She saw it. She had a hissy fit. And the Turks was like, "Oh, he steal from us. He no steal no more."
That sounds about right.
You know, but there's different mentalities.
When
I
I
don't
was-
know where you're at.
Well, it's also the culture too. Culture's changing mentality also.
Well, over
so.
there, if you steal something, they cut your arm off right here.
Right.
Okay.
See, that's the thing I don't think a lot of Americans understand. I mean, the veterans do, the ones that have been overseas, you guys understand, but those have, like us, have been stateside our entire lives and never went in the military. We can't grasp that concept. You know, we sit there and look at, like, the different cultures, everyone's like, oh, well, this is going on over there, and they're like, well, no, it's not. You don't see it here. But it's pretty bad over there in different places, depending on where you go.
What's neat about it is the appreciations.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it's like I went to a place called Palawan Occidental Mindoro. It's an island in South Manila. We were the first Americans there since World War II. And the way we were treated was just phenomenal. Okay, when we went to Korea, okay, we're out. You go where they put you.
Yeah.
Well, they put us in the cemetery. All right, well, they got the mounds, and here comes this old fella, and he's just raising Cain, you know, having a hissy fit. We got one guy that kind of speaks Korean. Okay, I can speak a little bit. I can be polite, and I can get slapped. Okay, that's pretty much my vocabulary.
Yoboso!
But you know, here we were making. We didn't bring the GPs and the CP tents like the Army does. Okay, we got shelter house. Okay, now it's like -11, and the wind's blowing, so it's off the charts. So we made a hooch, linking all of them together, where we got about 10 guys in there. And all of a sudden, this little lady comes up. She just walks right on in. Okay, it's like, okay, she's just chattering and doing and looking, and then she leaves. All right. 30 minutes later, she comes in, and they do this compressed cold.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's their heat.
And she comes in, she starts moving everybody's racks about, okay? You know, we're sleeping on the ground, it's not a real rack, but she's moving everybody's stuff around. And she sets that thing up, and she opens up the tent above it, and she gets that going and warms it up, and she brings in a pot, and they kill the chicken for us. And then she's making dinner for us. Because they appreciate the fact that we were there.
Yeah.
They give you awesome
Okay.
hospitality. That's awesome.
You know, we couldn't understand each other. You know, we were giving them, I had sea rats then. So we were giving them sea rats, and she was more tickled about the box it came in. Okay.
I bet.
No, seriously.
Yeah, I believe
they were
that.
using it to fix their hutches and
Yeah.
stuff. You know, it's just, people can't grasp it. You know, we went into Hong Kong. All right, they told us, you got Hong Kong Island and you got Kowloon, which is the mainland. They got a subway that goes through there. All right, they told us we could go to the third stop. Well, duh, that we went all the way to the end. You know, and you get out there, and there's this huge open air market. Okay, and it's myself, big old boy from Texas, and a couple other guys with us. You know, and you see the market over here, and then you see their idea of a park, and then their idea of a park is all these concrete ping pong tables. Even the the nets are concrete on them.
Oh, that's cool.
And we're checking it out, and and these guys come over to us, and they got this tattered basketball. I mean, it's been sewed back together, and it's it's just beat all the. And on the far side, they got a half court. And these guys come up to us, and they're like, "Oh, you want to play?" So that's cool. So we went down there. Well, we're used to playing jungle basketball. These guys were so polite.
Yeah.
I mean, if they fouled you, they were all upset, and here we are killing each other. We got a bunch of jarheads. And we get done, okay. And Red, it was a guy from Texas. He's like 6'4", 345, and ain't no fat on the boy, okay. And so we look at him, he's like, okay, get something to drink, get something to eat. They say, okay. So they bring us down in this alleyway, and I was like, Red, we about to get drunk, so you keep an eye open. And they had a half basement room. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, where the room's half in the ground, half out.
Mm-hmm.
And we go in there, and there's a concrete table about a foot and a half off the ground, and then there's a little ledge in concrete. This little lady pokes her head out, and these two little girls poke their head up, and they're all giggles, and he says something to them, and he just tells us to sit down. So we sit down. As long as we would eat, they kept bringing food out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Had no idea what it was, didn't want to know what it was. Okay, it was all good.
Yeah.
Okay, and it was just totally awesome. All right. Well, when we got done, I put some money out in my hand, and she took out what she wanted because we were good with whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
And our customs, we tip. So I took 20, stuck it under the table. Well, when we were walking back out of the alley, the little girl that served us come flying by me, and she bumped into me, and she's giggling. Well, I didn't notice, but in my breast pocket, she put the 20 back.
Oh. Yeah.
They gotten more than they normally would have got. They were very tickled with the fact that they were tickled that we liked the food. And you don't see this.
No.
Okay?
No.
I look at the people that been here, and they're talking all this crap about Iran and all this stuff going and whatever. Okay? They got no basis for what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I remember when we were friends with the Iranians.
Yeah. Yep.
I was in school with some Iranian pilots. Okay? Very competitive, a little loud, but good folks. Okay? But now everybody's got an attitude toward them. Okay? My disposition is if somebody invites you into their house and they share food with you, that's how you get to know somebody.
Mm-hmm. Brick bread.
Well,
Okay.
Jesus didn't. If you sit and look at it biblically, there's no place that Jesus ever taught that didn't break bread with people. There's a reason for that.
It's just, that's when they're real.
Yeah.
Okay? If I'm comfortable with you in my kitchen, I'm comfortable with you, period.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's true.
Okay? But it doesn't matter which culture you're at. They want better for their family than they had. They want a roof over their head. They want the electricity on. They want water running. They want food. Okay? It's basic. And all this stuff is going on now,
It's generated by, call it whatever you want, deep state, whatever. Got to have that hostility out there. You have to have an enemy.
Well,
don't you know it's human nature?
I was in the Philippines when Marcos was there.
I'm sorry?
I was in the Philippines when Marcos was there.
Okay.
Okay? They got, like, I don't know, 317 languages, 47 dialects, and another 90 unwritten dialects. He kept every faction fighting amongst themselves so they couldn't join up and overthrow him.
Exactly. Divide and conquer.
Divide and
Okay?
conquer.
If you look at the communist doctrine, the first thing they say is to get them fighting amongst themselves.
Mm-hmm. It's,
Why does that look familiar?
yeah.
Yes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, seriously, they take control of the schools, churches, and media.
Yep.
Get them fighting amongst themselves. Okay? Then they can't.
You can't concentrate on the other real problem. Keep
Well,
it distracted.
the actual enemy.
The actual enemy, yeah. It is divide and conquer.
And that's the thing. Like every time you sit there and we hear what's going on overseas from any veterans, so-called veterans, or whatever you want to call them, it's always the negative.
Mhm.
It's easier to talk about the negative rather than the positive.